Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to a new edition of the 3 Up, 3 Down podcast shorts. I'm your host, Brian Hunter, coming at you with another shorts episode this week because sometimes life just gets in the way. Work schedule's kind of crazy and hectic. Weren't able to make a full podcast happen this week, but we still want to make sure we get you our hitter and pitcher of the week awards and their interviews, and we had a lot of fun with those today, so I hope you guys enjoy that. But before we get started, I want to make sure to touch base that the registration for the MO WIFF Classic is going to be coming to a close on Monday the 25th. So if you haven't gotten your team registered, please make sure you're getting your team registered. So with all that being said, let's get to it. We are joined now by our Week 15 Buffalo Wild Wings pitcher of the week, going 7 innings pitched, only giving up one hit, not surrendering a single run, all while striking out 19 batters with 0 walks. Do you know that? 0 walks. It's kind of impressive.
Yep.
But
Thank you.
it's one of the new faces of the Bombers team after being traded. Please welcome back to the program, Mr. Josh Wheeler. Round of applause.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
What's up, man? How you been?
Doing really good. I feel like WIFF season's been, just pedal to the metal, and it's just been constant. Being in multiple leagues and the national tournament. It's been a lot of fun. So just having a blast.
So has it been more fun or just kind of what you expected this to be?
I mean, I would say like expected. Like, I mean, it's fun. Like we're playing a game that's meant for kids to play in the backyard. So if we're not having fun, we're doing something wrong. So it's been a ton of fun. It has taken up a lot more time than I thought maybe, and my wife thought maybe it would take. So we've had to make some adjustments throughout the season as far as that goes. But yeah, no, it's been about as fun as I thought. It's been a blast.
Got you. All right, good deal. Well, let's dig into it, shall we? So
Let's do it.
your record on the season's 1-3, but that's no distinction at all of how well you've pitched. This season you got 30 innings on your 30 innings pitched, which is second in the league. 10 hits. You've only given up 10 hits. Only given up 3 earned runs all year. You got 77 strikeouts, which is second in the league as well. And you've only walked 10 people. So how do you feel the season's going as a whole for you?
Really good. I feel like, being the true rookie I am, I like legit just started playing wiffle ball at the Mo Wiff Classic last year, like we've talked about in the past on the podcast. And so I didn't really have like super high expectations. I just wanted to keep getting better week by week and try to adapt as well as I could. And I think I've done that really well, and I'm impressed with myself. I feel like I'm gradually getting better with each start and every at bat I get. So super stoked with how it's going, and I hope to just keep getting better and better.
Got you. Would you say that it's exactly what you expected league play and playing in some of these tournaments, or has it been a little bit harder in some aspects?
I think harder. I mean, it's like as a pitcher, there's no easy outs, and then as a hitter, there's just no easy at bats. I mean, everything feels like a battle. So just full of talent, MoWiff is, and it's just it's a ton of fun, and it's only going to make you better getting to play, top talent like that. So
That's a true statement. That's definitely a true statement. That it's just some of the games that I've watched. It's like watch you go out there and just go toe to toe with some of the best in the league. And it's just like, damn, and then not getting the outcome. Obviously we want to win it,
yeah,
but the outcome not being where it is, it's kind of
yeah,
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Excuse me, it's heartbreaking. Period.
yeah.
But you're definitely a fan favorite. As Big Dan was talking last week, you're definitely on his radar. So that's
I
always a good
appreciate
sign
that.
there.
I love he's a big day.
So you started the season with the Kings being the first overall draft pick, got traded to
Yeah.
the Bombers. Do you feel like any of the expectations have maybe shifted or changed from you switching from the Kings over to the Bombers?
I don't think so necessarily. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, the Kings took me first overall. So the expectations, obviously, they had a lot of belief in me, and they thought I could be a really good player. And I feel that same thing from Cam and the boys. I felt like they welcomed me with, open arms and made me feel right at home. And Cam's been really good about, showing his belief in me, and, very supportive, always offering advice and like trying to fill me with confidence, and help me out in any way he can. So I feel like expectations are about the same, from the Kings to the Bombers.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk about real quick, and I mean this may be a curveball to you what we've talked about. Let's talk about the outing that you had. You had the sixth inning game that you pitched that went to a home run derby. That was your start,
Yeah.
and then you picked up that inning, from where the rain out the rain delay picked back up from the week prior.
Yeah.
How do you prepare yourself to kind of be able to go that kind of distance? I don't have your pitch count in front of me, and that's one thing I kind of wish I did. But I mean, you had to have been. I mean, you were efficient. Don't get me wrong, but you had to have been pushing 100, 120 at least.
Yeah. I think I was told after my first start, so after the first 6 innings I threw Thursday, I was around 80, which was pretty good after through 6, so I would assume I was probably around 100 after
Right.
that 7th inning I threw. Um, as far as like, I've never thrown that was the most I've ever thrown, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I've never thrown with a break like that because I threw the first game, we played, what was supposed to be the 3rd game, and then we went back to finish that rain delay, so I had, like, an hour break in between throwing, which I've never had before, and, you're gonna do that a lot at tournaments, so I was really stoked to actually get that experience to kinda prove to myself I can, take a break, and then my arm would be okay throwing again an hour or 2 later, so that felt really nice. Didn't have any, fatigue or arm pain with that. I felt, as good as I did in the first game. So was really stoked about how I felt there and how I did. And yeah, it was a ton of fun. The Purger are no slouch, and that was quite the battle of a series. And just unfortunate didn't go our way.
Just needed one. I just needed one win from you guys
Yeah,
for that.
we did too.
I know. No, it's just all good fun.
Yeah,
So I know you're the pitcher of the week, but I would be remiss if we did not talk about the monkey getting off your back and
yeah,
talk about how you put the bat on how you got your first 2 hits this season. That line
hmm
rope, in that shortstop hole, between second, short, and third, that for the base hit, and then the double. So tell me how
yeah.
it feels. How does it feel to finally
Amazing.
get that hit?
Incredible. I felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders, and you could see it in the video. I mean,
Oh yeah.
typically guys aren't going to be celebrating just getting like a single that doesn't drive any runs or anything. I didn't care. I couldn't hide my excitement. I was stoked. I felt like I was on top of the world getting that hit out of the way. Just being the first overall draft pick, and just having that pressure, and just not having a hit with like 3 weeks left in the season. That's not a great feeling. So I was very, very happy to get that off my back, and stoked that I continued hitting throughout that series too. It's not just like I did one hit and I was
Right.
done. So gained a lot of confidence from that, and now I feel like I can just go and play. And whereas before, like I just felt that pressure every time I batted, I was like, I need to get a hit, I need to get a hit, I need this off my back. So I'm just stoked to not have to have that thought in my head anymore, and I can just play, keep getting better, at bat by at bat, just seeing pitches and just getting better. So
Yeah.
felt great.
I totally thought that the way you were going to get your first hit was going to be how you gave up the hit,
Mm,
to Tom, just a little off the hands fister, just
yeah,
making it barely in. You know,
yeah. I
kudos
would
to
have
him.
taken it.
Kudos to him for getting that bat on the ball and keeping that ball fair.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give I'll
Tom
give
was all
kudos
over
to that.
me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tom was seeing me really well. He fouled off many pitches. He was a tough out.
That was a lot of fun to watch. It's good
Yeah,
fun. It's always good fun to see Tom get up there and have good bats.
yeah, for
You know.
sure.
But no, man. I mean, and we're not just talking Suzy Q's. We're talking absolutely smoked balls, right? Where you barreled them up. Now, granted, you hit them hard and you were coming down on them. Now I think it's just, you know, they're just going to keep getting up and up before you're going to launch one sooner or later. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, how does it feel? Well, I guess you kind of alluded to it. How does it feel? But when is something barreling that ball up that way? Do you think it's just because you're seeing kind of repetition of pitching, or kind of your preparation, or do you think you maybe got a little bit of luck here and there?
Um, I think maybe a mixture of both. I think in fast pitch in general, there's probably a little bit of luck to it. Like obviously there's skill, but sometimes you have to just sit a pitch. Like if a guy's throwing hard, like a lot of the guys do in our league, you kind of just have to sit a pitch and hope that's what you get, and you'll get lucky sometimes and barrel it up. But I felt like I was just seeing it. Like it typically, and you'll hear a lot of guys at MoWiff kind of complain about like there's no batter's eye and it's kind of hard to pick up the ball depending on the lighting and stuff. And I definitely had experienced that with the past series, and just felt like I wasn't seeing the ball. Whereas I finally felt like I was seeing the ball out of the hand and really tracking it the whole way. So I just decided to sit. I was sitting risers, and I just started seeing them and got the barrel to it and trusted the hand. So I think it just worked out really well. I felt like I was just seeing the ball.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Um, Final game of the season for your Bombers is this Thursday against the Thunderbirds. Kind of a
Yeah.
must-win game for you guys. You know, to be in control of your own destiny. You know, it's a must-win kind of thing, right? So, how do you feel to stay? How do you feel, or how are you going to stay prepped, kind of to be going up against the people that you trained with in the off season in Foss and Dom?
Yeah. Honestly, don't change much. Just try to treat it like any other week. I know the boys are fully focused and we know what the game means. We know that it is pretty much a must win and we're gonna do everything we can to get that win. So we're locked in, ready to go, and just gonna try to do our thing just like any other week.
Is there going to be any pleasantries, in middle of the game, or is it going to be before and after game?
Uh yeah, we're gonna be enemies during the game, that's for sure.
Perfect. I'm ready to talk. So let's get it going. Let's get it on it. Let's get on it come Thursday at 6 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Oh,
Sounds good. I'll probably just laugh at whatever you say. I'm not really much of a smack talker.
oh, that's fine. You got, there's enough people on your team. Trust me.
Yeah.
Tommy Dwyer's got some good one-liners every once in a while. He needs it pulled out of him. Don't worry, I'll get it out of him.
Okay, sounds good.
I love it. Um, so talking about Mo Wiff Classic real quick. For those like we're talking about, registration is coming up. The due date for registration is coming up for Monday the 25th. So please, 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 if you're getting a team going, make sure you get registered in. And if you have a team graphic or anything that way that you have for your team, send it my way. You can always reach out to me, and somebody's got my number if you don't have it, and I'll gladly allow anybody to give it to you. So make sure you get that to me. But Mr. Wheeler, who are you playing with in the MOWIF Classic?
Yeah, we're playing with the Miracle, so it's going to be Cam Smith, Spencer Foss, Tony Cochran. Did I say his last
Mm-hmm.
name right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Rory Rank, and then myself. So it's actually the Mo with Miracle team for UWIFs as well. So
Okay.
that's going to be kind of like our prep and the way that we qualify for UWIFs, and just super stoked. The Mo with Classic last year was so much fun, and to get to use it this year as a prep for the World Championship, couldn't ask for a better weekend there. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, who'd you play with last year?
It was
I
kind
know
of
you
like a
played with
hodgepodge. Literally that morning, we got the team through together, but like I couldn't have asked for greater guys to play with. So it was me and Jason. We're kind of like a duo, and we got thrown in with Dom's team, who had James and Bryson on it.
Gotcha.
I mean, that is such a fun team. We had so much fun. We were
Oh,
just
that.
goofing around the whole day, and it was awesome. So
Are you going to be able to? How much fun are you looking to have having Tony being the chirp king out of any of? Well, Jason's pretty good, but Tony's up
yeah,
there being that chirp king,
yeah,
being able to talk that smack and in between games, not in between games, during games. I mean, all around.
yeah,
Nothing stops him.
yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm like I said, I don't really talk much, so I'll probably just be sitting over there giggling at, whatever happens and have a good time and enjoy it. Tony's hilarious and I like being around the guy. Got to get to know him a little bit better at Skibby weekend there and had a good time doing some fireball shooters with him and I'm sure we're gonna do more of that at the MoWiff Classic and have some fun. So
Oh man, it's got the classic is going to be a good time. Again, if you got a team, get in. You know, just get in, have some fun.
yep,
$125 split against your five guys, $25 a guy. It's not bad.
yep.
Just go have some fun. Come enjoy the day. Um, hey man, so I mean, as it's gone recently, I've kind of been ending all interviews with seeing if anybody's got any questions for me. So, you got any questions for me? You want to turn the
I
tables?
do.
You be the
Yeah.
interviewer, I'll be the interviewee.
Sounds good. Yeah, I came prepared. So my
Woo-hoo.
question for you is, what is your playoff experience in MoWiff? I don't know. So like, how far have you gone? What
Okay.
has your playoff experience been in the past? And then what are you looking forward to most with the playoffs this year? And do you have anything kind of like that you've learned that you're going to take into this year's playoffs?
Ooh. Anything I've learned that I'm going to take into it. Um, it's the same game, right? Advice. This may be the thing that I take into the same that I take into it. So I'll start from the rears and work my way back. It's the same game. It's just maybe the lights are brighter a little bit just because you got more people's eyes on you because it's the playoffs. But at the same time, it's still pitcher has to throw the ball, hitter still has to hit the ball, fielder still has to field the ball, right? So I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to have my fair share of playoff moments that are pretty, been pretty good. But at the same time, I've gone completely over during an entire playoffs and struck out all but three times. So it's kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But my playoff history is so this being my fourth year in the league, I've made the playoffs all three of the previous years. Okay. So my first year with the Archers was me, Jordan, Rory, and then Brian Kenny, I believe. Um, it we made it to the second round because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were the one seed from our division. So we made it. Our first round was the second round, and we took it three games with the Bombers, lost 2-1. I was over in that series, and it kind of sucks. Just literally, and unfortunately, it just happened where Jordan, between Jordan and Rory, we just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help. I didn't help offensively by anything. So, that kind of gives that fire to build. The next year, we returned and we made it to the finals. And it was going, hold on, actually. Is that not true? Hold on. Please hold. Yeah, we made it to the finals that year against the Melonheads and got swept. So
Mm.
that was what we called the James Chaney year, where the series with that one against the Mojo to get into the finals. Um, Literally, Chaney threw the bat out there, and Gus threw him a pitch high and tight, and he decked it out of the ballpark, and it was crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
It's
Um,
amazing.
but that ultimately lost 2-0 there, so that was kind of heartbreaking to get swept out of the playoffs again. So, it's never fun to get swept out of that. To get swept at all. Period.
Yeah.
You play and you bust your ass all year long. You go through the rainouts, you go through the spurts, and then in one night it's all over.
Yeah.
It's I don't like losing. I can handle it, right, because there's got to be a winner or loser. But I mean, it's definitely when you don't do anything, when it just doesn't go your way, it just sucks. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'll say that. Last year, I was with the Purge. We made it in. We were the one seed as well for the division. We won the division, so we had the first round bye, and we got beat by the Archers, 2-1.
Mm.
And
Ooh.
what sucks about that series is, and I'm not making any excuses for it, I flied out to the wall twice. Um, that could have drastically changed a couple of those games that could have put
Yeah.
us into that championship instead of the Archers. And I mean, I blame my elbow, just because I don't want to say it's me, but to be what it is, I did not have the full power to push through the ball. Like I had
Yeah.
to kind of come off one handed because I couldn't get full extension. And I mean, just to fly out, 3-4 feet in front of the wall, just does it go out? You
Yeah.
don't know, but if you're fully
Yeah.
healthy or at full strength, maybe. So it kind of sucked there, but I've been there,
Super.
right? I've been there. I've been to been to the finals. I've been in the playoffs every single time. I know that it's the lights are brighter, but it's still a game to play. So I mean, it's going to be that along with the likes of Brody and the likes, Nichols and, stuff like that. And, Dom has had his own success, in other leagues and other tournaments. So is Spencer,
Yep.
with playoff type and high pressure situation. So, I mean, I'm comfy with it because we've all
Yep.
kind of been there a little bit. We've all got the experience. I've played with Will and Brink in other leagues where we've, won championships and, stuff that way. So we know how the stakes go. So, experience is definitely there, and it's going to really play to our advantage because it's just a go time. That's it.
Yep.
So I mean, that's just what it's going to be. So we're looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to seeing how it's all going to unfold. I love the drama that's built into the final 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Seemingly would I like to be able to
Yeah.
take a deep breath, but you know what? That's not the way the cookie crumbled. So,
Right.
it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be a hell of a time. So,
Yeah.
definitely
I
stay
love
tuned.
it.
Playoffs are starting soon. Starting soon. I think what is it? September 4th is our first playoff. Is the
Yeah, I
playoffs?
think we're like 2 weeks out. Yeah. A little over two
Yeah,
weeks.
we'll be 2 weeks out come Thursday. So
Yep.
it's gonna be. I'm excited.
It's gonna
Um,
be fun.
it's gonna be fun. But no, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you for coming on and joining us here this afternoon and just having a good old time. Um,
Yeah.
but dude, good luck to you. We'll see you Thursday. We'll shake hands before games, and then in between games, we're frenemies. All right, straight up. More,
Sounds
more,
good.
more enemy than friend. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're still going to clasp up and we're going to still lock it up and dub it up.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
All
I
right,
appreciate you having me on.
for sure. We'll be right back with our hitter of the week, with a little bit of twist. He's been on a couple times, so we're going to flip the script a little bit. So you guys stay tuned. It's going to be definitely something enjoyable to watch. Joining us now is our Week 15 Lit Cigar Lounge hitter of the week. He hit the go-ahead homer in the series with the Mojo, leading his Thunderbirds to a series split. Please welcome back the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brody Livingston. Round of applause. Round of applause. Welcome back, buddy. How's your 2 weeks been since you were last on?
It's been good. Um, been working, just kind of hanging out, playing wiffle ball when I can. You know, summer's still been rolling. It's been packed, so I've had a great time.
Good deal. Adjusting to the humid climate and not the
Yeah,
desert climate of St. Louis.
yeah. I mean, we kind of got to see what it looked like when I pitched in the rain for the first time. So I mean, now that I have that under my belt, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable now.
Well, I'm glad moving forward. But it is what it is, man. It happens. I
Yeah,
much rather. I'm actually. I don't like losing. I don't think anybody likes to 100% say lose. But the streak we were on, I'm kind of glad we did lose one. So that way it kind of resets, humbles a little bit, and kind of go. But going against who we win against, that's gonna happen. That's a 50-50 crapshoot. So ain't nothing
that's
on my back.
yeah.
But so as I kind of hinted towards in the Wheeler interview, we're going to switch things up a little bit. Since Brody was just on 2 weeks ago, he's going to ask me a couple questions. So we're going to have a little fun with this. So I'm looking forward. So what do you got?
All right. So my first question. So okay, I'll kind of break down like what you know. I have a couple MOWIF uh, like base questions, obviously, and then I have a UF question, and then just like a Thunderbirds question, just overall.
Okay.
With us both being on the Thunderbirds. Um, so my first question is, what is your pick for the game of the year in MOWIF right now?
Oof. The most recent one that's in my head um, was the back-to-back home run derby games between the Purge and Bombers. All right,
Yeah,
that's some life there. Um, But to me, that I call game of the year, and maybe I'm being a little selfish here, is you pick one of the games, between us and the Bombers when Doolin was here. Um, the first game kind of sticks out because it was your first time out, and it was also Doolin's first time out. Even though you both have had success at other leagues and other places, it was still the first time you'd been in MoWiff with that rules and that stuff. So that to me kind of stands out to game of the year. Um, but I mean, there's so many games, dude. There's been this the beginning of the year with all the pitching and the pitching duels that were coming down to who blinked or who hit somebody in the head or who walked in a run, to kind of win a game. Like Pat versus Wheeler, early on in the year.
yeah,
There's too many to call, but I'll stick with my favorite game of the year has probably been you versus Duel and off the cuff.
yeah. East Coast West Coast game. I love
Yeah,
that. That's one of my favorite games of my like wiffle ball career, just in general. It honestly might be my favorite. Just because like I felt like there was a lot of hype around it. Just like around us playing the Bombers in general, and then to see
yeah.
Doolin there like added to it. So um, Yeah, that's a good one. I think, like you said, like game two of that was pretty insane, where we made the comeback off Doolin, especially like against somebody like of that caliber. Like one run could basically be it. So the fact that we came away with a win there was like insane. That's also when I kind of knew I was like, oh, like we're legit. Like that's a pretty legit pitcher. Like that's no joke.
I mean,
But no, you
everybody stepped up. Everybody stepped up that game.
yeah, that was a team effort. Like everyone was a part of it. Mine is, I mean, you said it already, but Pat versus Wheeler, matching somebody exactly in pitches and just like it was a 6 inning game and it was ridiculous. And the fact that it went to a home run derby was like insane. And at that point, Pat was on that just insane run of just like not losing and like not
Right.
blinking at all. And the fact that Kings came away with it was just crazy.
I mean, that would have been Wheeler's what 1, 2, 3, 4, third or fourth start maybe
Yeah.
in his career, going
Yeah.
toe to toe with Pat. So I mean, that's sorry,
Number one.
I pulled that up to kind of look at it.
No, I love it too because it's number one pick versus number one pick. So it's like it
True.
was to like see like how they did against each other, and they were like even, perfectly even. So nah, that's I think that one's still going to be my favorite.
So
Um,
let me hold you off right there. It made me think of a
yep,
question I'm going to ask you. What would
yep.
you say your welcome to the league moment is?
Ooh,
I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot here. I know you were going to ask the questions, but it kind of made me just kick myself in the face for not asking Wheeler this earlier. So I may have to text and add it in.
my welcome to the league moment. I don't think it was against the Mojo, although like I feel like that's the first time where like I've seriously like like gave a game away. I think my first welcome to the league moment was like against the Melonheads before I hit the homer. I think I was like 0 for 3 with three like very uncompetitive strikeouts. I think it was like three strikeouts on like 11 pitches. Like it was like that's probably my welcome to the league moment to be honest.
Was that the game? That was the game where you said something, just off cuff, like, "Why am I swinging at that?" Or you said something. I was like, "My
Yeah,
thoughts exactly." Or, "Yep."
I was like way too anxious and I swung on a pitch that like hit me and like it was never like I knew it was a ball and I was like I'm gonna swing for whatever reason like my brain was shut off like that was probably my welcome to the league moment. I think I was also like I was coming off that high of like playing the Bombers.
Yeah.
Then I mean, that's probably my welcome to the league moment.
Sorry, I got you off kilter there, but it was just a question. Impulsive thoughts.
No, that's a good question. Um, so I'll shift into my second question. I want to give some props to some guys who, maybe aren't talked about as much in MoWiff.
Okay.
And for people who watch this and from like an outsider perspective, outside of Missouri Wiffleball in general, I just want to know like who is your pick for the most underrated player in MoWiff, and we can like go down a list. That way we can like give off a couple guys.
Got you. Okay. Who stands out? The first name that comes to mind is Parker Bunch. All right. I mean, even though looking at his stats right now, and I mean, I'm kind of quick on the draw, pulling them up and having them side by side with me, are pretty equal to what last year's was. I mean, he's proven the fact in that consistency, kind of where improved year after year, and even though the numbers are stagnant, roughly or about the same, it's showing the fact that consistently that's what you're going to get, right? So
Yep.
I mean, definitely, I think somebody like him is totally underrated. Um, Hitchcock has been somebody, Dustin Hitchcock has been somebody that has definitely been hit. He's hit pretty much everywhere he's gone. Last year was a lull, but this year he's kind of got it back. He's got that confidence up there, where he's putting the bat on the ball, and I mean, taking he is the true definition of a competitive at bat, right?
Yep.
Where it might not necessarily always be, what it is. I mean, he's only batting a buck 89, but he's got 10 hits on the season, and there's only 7 people that can say that.
Yeah.
I mean, when we look at it, it is, you, Cole, Rory, Chandler, Tony Cochran, Josh Richardson, Dustin Hitchcock. Those are your top 7 that have the most hits on the year. So I
Yeah.
mean, definitely somebody is up there. Um, respectfully, anybody who hits behind Cole in a lineup, you get a little overshadowed maybe. But I mean, seeing what Caden and what both Caden and Chandler have done this year, I know I already said that,
Mhm.
definitely I think they're maybe not necessarily underrated, but I mean, you could say it in a way, you know, but they're
Yeah,
definitely they are as advertised. So I guess maybe they're not underrated, but they're definitely coming in where they're at. Um, but, you know, Keller batting, batting where he's batting, another one like that. Um, there's so many names that could be said, right? You
yeah,
got people like John Willenbrink that inside out swings, that double off the duel and bringing it back to, when we came back on that.
yeah,
Um, you know, Tom's had some big at bats to where, some stuff's done. He single handedly beat us, with a drive with a, out there. Um, he broke up Wheeler's, perfect game that he had going the other night,
yeah,
with a little knuckle punch. But I mean, those are competitive at bats. So I mean, there's definitely when we were talking first part of the year about all the pitching, was the hitting ever going to catch up? I'm not saying necessarily the hitting's caught up, but now the hitting is just as equally as impressive of what we had, you know, kind of playing into it. Sam
yeah,
Gilderhouse comes in halfway through the season cold as hell in the lineup, doing some damage in the field, making plays. Or
yeah,
he in my opinion, robbed a home run because he knocked the ball down that Caleb hit the other night. It was rising. He was able to get a hand on it, and knock it down.
yeah,
Uh, People, Johnny Gunn, might not be hitting or hitting the way he wants, but he's like a sequoia tree out there, robbing homers left and right. So
yeah,
you got the big old oven mitts out there just snatching balls left and right.
yeah. I was gonna say actually, like Zach Gunn has been extremely good. Um, I mean, he's came up clutch for the purge, especially when Pat's not there. And they need
So was
some
John
off.
Strachowski in that situation. Sorry.
Exactly. No, 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 no. It's true. Like I mean, like that's kind of been the purges, in my opinion. Their weakness is just the hitting outside of Pat, and to see like, I mean, Colin, same thing. Like he's not an underrated pitcher, obviously. I mean, he finished top three in the Cy Wiffle last year, but
Right.
like as a hitter, I mean, he has 3 bombs on the year. So I mean, he's putting together a pretty good year. 3 or 4, I think.
Even though that home run doesn't count yet because it's week 8 to 17 game that they played and how it's all going to go.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. Uh, the minor adjustment that he made one adjustment. Somebody said one thing to him, got his hands, watched the ball all the way in, and absolutely tattooed that bitch.
Yep.
I mean, tattooed it. I mean, that's just talking about Colin. That's what he does. He's like
Yeah.
this, that very, very good sneaky center. You know what you're going to get from him on the mound, but at the plate, he's, he's taking at bats where it's like, good morning, good afternoon, good night, or he's taking at bats where he grinds, and that grind normally ends to go his way.
Yeah. No, and I mean like you also got guys like Drew Ballman too, who have been sneaky good.
Drew's just been consistently on a rocket ride, going
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
And I mean for a Melonheads team that hasn't been you know great, obviously. I mean like he's had some big moments, and honestly, the thing that like impressed me the most about it isn't even his hitting; it's his pitching. Like the fact that he was like, I don't even pitch in this style, and he just like picked up a ball and like started throwing. I mean, like he throws an NWA a little bit, but he's looked great on the mound. Like he's given them like a lot of potential like for the future. Obviously, like I think that he's another good one, but I want to go back to Chandler and Caden. Like I think they were wild cards. Like I don't really know. Like they were very like 50-50. Like I feel like people saw the potential in both of them. Probably more so Chandler with hitting and everything. And I mean he's been as advertised obviously as a hitter. Um, Caden's been like sneaky good. Like when he's there, not even sneaky good, he's been really good. Just like on both sides of the ball, like both of them. And like you said, being behind Cole, they can kind of be overshadowed a little bit. But I feel like they've done a good job rounding out that lineup and just like having a force through multiple slots in that lineup rather than just one or two.
Right. I mean,
But
and then we'll put a bow on it, and let's, Nichols is Nichols.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
batting 220, got, He's got 2 bombs out. Got 9 hits on the season. So I mean, he's having a dang good little year there as well. So
Yeah, it's like you said, like with Parker, and I think Nichols is in the same boat. Like, even though their numbers probably aren't like changing a lot from past seasons, like the quality of just overall like teams and pitching and everything, like to have the same numbers is really impressive. Like that's a really hard thing to do. So I mean, like I'm impressed with guys who are able to stay consistent because, in my opinion, consistency is key. If you're not consistent, then you're not going to be playing in the league after 3-4 years. So
the true
it's
state.
impressive.
That's true state.
Uh, all right. So with UWIFs coming up after the MO WIFF season, we don't need to make like a certain roster. Just like if MO WIFF sent 5 guys, do you think they could go on and make some noise at UWIF?
Well, we are sending more than 5. So I mean, but if I was to say, like, if we were to star-stud it, top to bottom, 5
Yeah.
guys to go there and do damage,
Yep.
I definitely think we'd go up there and we could go up there and make a run, right? Now, I mean, you're going to run into the powerhouses that are there, that are still there, that have been there,
Yep.
but the experience all the way around that we have in the league now, where everybody's well traveled, we've shown out at NWLA.
Yeah.
We've shown out. When I say we, I get to, feels good to say we, even though it ain't me. But our players, we've shown out.
Yeah.
We've shown out in national tournaments. We've put, Mo WIFF on the map a little bit. To the points to where we've got talent from across the country coming into it. You know, Not necessarily. You came over from the west. I'll say west, right? We'll say you're the farthest out west that we've had. We've had the Connor Jasos come in. The Ben Doolins come in. Um, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of where we started and where we're growing. We've
Yeah.
got big things coming down the pipe that we never in a million years imagined we'd be able to take this league to. That I'm so excited to be able to share soon. But it's one of those things where, just to get back to the bulk of your question, I think we could take 5 of our top guys, and I would not hesitate to go toe to toe with any team that's out there.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I
Plain and
agree.
simple.
I
If we could 5 guys that could all pitch, 5 guys that could all hit, and I mean, kind of going through a roster, you build a lineup, and there would not be an easy out.
Yeah.
Your pool play pitchers would be studs still to the point. So I
Yeah.
mean, even during pool play, where I think it would matter what pool you land, right?
Yeah.
Um, but give it a fair shake. I'd put us in there where put us in with teams that have been up there and kind of been going for years and got that powerhouse mentality. We would just be another one to add to the list and really prove the fact that the Midwest is here to stay. We ain't
Yeah.
going. We
Yeah.
ain't going nowhere at all. What, we got 4 teams going or 5 teams going right now?
Yeah. With guys representing even more than that. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
there's so many, you know.
So that's just a quarter of over a quarter of the teams, or if they've got 40 teams up there, all right, and we're sending 4 teams up, that's 10%. 10% of UWIFs is going to be from Mo WIFF in some facet.
Yeah.
So we're coming, plain and simple. Now, don't get me wrong. Teams probably don't get in that want to get in. Maybe we got guys that are quick to the draw, but we earn the right to be there, and we for damn sure are going to make sure we're going to leave a dent when we leave.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the goal. I also feel like, like we have more of like the family mindset in terms of like, like these teams are like brothers in terms of like, you know, whoever gets eliminated, like they immediately go and they cheer on the other guys that are
Yeah,
out there. Like, I feel like that's something that, maybe the other regions of the sport don't have that we have an advantage to. Like, oh, cool, you eliminated us. Now you get to play another one of our teams, and now we're rooting for their team. We're going to get loud
right.
and with. Like, we get to add even more pressure. Not that, like, guys like Robles and all these other East Coast guys are going to, crack under that pressure. I mean, they do this. They do this all the time. But, like, it's still cool to think that, we have that little advantage to it. And, we kind of saw it at NWLA. Like, all the Missouri teams were like walking around like, oh, how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Like watching, like sitting in the dugouts, like with each other, like watching the games, like it was pretty cool. Like just having everyone there everyone at NWLA had all played in Mo Wiff.
Right.
So like we were all rooting for each other, and that was just great. And I feel like we're gonna carry that into UWIFs, and hopefully again make a dent while we're there.
I'm gonna need something pandas related to be able to rock. When I'm watching your guys' stuff, I've got a
Yeah,
jersey for every team that's going, and if I'm gonna be there, bet your ass I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there supporting. So
yeah,
we got to make something happen. We got to make.
yeah,
I'll buy it. I don't care if it's got to be ordered. I'll buy it. But
yeah,
I want something to rock. I got the Miracles, Miracle jersey ready to go. I've got last year's Lit City, but that's we'll figure all that out. But I mean, there's definitely going to be. I'm definitely going to have something to wear for everybody.
yeah. It's
I mean,
it's gonna be. I'm so pumped. It made me so excited. I ordered like another like 40 wiffle balls when they announced our like team roster thing for UIFs. I like got so excited. I started cutting balls. Like I was like, I have all my UIF balls already ready like 3 months in advance. So
this
I'm
is
excited. Um, so I mean, yeah. Um, I got two more questions here.
okay.
Uh, now that you've been to all three leagues, and you've watched everyone play, and they're so drastically different
You're talking
from
about here in St. Louis.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, from MoWiff to NWA to Skibby,
Yeah.
you know, they're all so different, and you've been to all of them now. Like which one do you think is the hardest, and for why? And then now that you've watched everyone play, like what style do you feel like matches more towards you, and like how you think wiffle ball should be played as you were, I guess, growing up, because like, I have one since I've been growing up.
Um. Oof. The hardest to play, in my opinion, is going to be Mo Whiff. All right, just
Yeah.
because the fact that pitching with full speed,
Yep.
that's a nightmare. I mean, it's dude. I mean, it's there's legitimately pitchers that even we can go about it to where you're just putting the bat in a location and you're hoping you catch where the ball's at. You
Yeah.
know, so I mean, when it comes to that, most fun for me to watch is Skibby, just
Yeah.
because it's it is the greatest. It has proven to me, and maybe because I've seen it more, the camaraderie that goes on during the whole event. I
Yep.
I look at it not just as the game or the style of play, but as the whole event. Um, but the one I probably enjoy the most to watch, and I think it's just because when you have a set pitch limit, when we're talking speed, and everybody's got to play by that rules, and then you include running the bases, I like watching NWA. I like
Yeah.
watching the videos. I've been able to be at Pepsi Field a couple, once, and I saw a pretty good little series there, that I was able to watch, and I mean, I'd left going, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to be able to watch. But I mean, everything's different, but the same. It's the same game we know and love. I remember being in the yard. I grew up in country roads, so it's not like I had neighborhood kids to play with. But we
Yeah.
had if we had friends come over or whatnot, we'd play 2v2 or 3v3 depending on what it was, and um, just all kinds of fun, if you will.
Yeah.
When we're running the bases, be able to peg each other, with the ball, and stuff that get somebody out. But I would say what takes me back to my childhood, it would be Skibby and NWA. But
Hmm.
I respect how difficult MoWiff can be because it also preps for everything.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of my vibe with it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's different for everybody. Like I know sometimes fast pitch can be just like grueling to watch, like just sitting there, just like zeros back and forth, especially when it's just like infinite extra innings. Like I watched a 27 inning game before, and like like it's awesome. Like I think fast pitch is the most fun to play just because it's so intense. Like I'm super competitive. Like just like the competitor in me just like loves like the challenge. But
Right.
in terms of entertainment, like 100%, like I agree. Like NWA, like I just feel like that style where everybody has a limit. Like you have to get crafty and be like smart. Like I feel like that style is just so much like entertainment, and then again, like you said with Skibby, like the camaraderie and like everybody just like being friends and just like it being like a big like event, like weekend, like just like you went in the backyard and started playing. Like I
Right.
love that. That's the
Well,
best.
and I love that's how it started, right? With Skibby Weekend, and I'm not saying Mo Wiff and NWA don't have that camaraderie, because you go and you look at the stories, you tell the history of the leagues, and this, this is my understanding, growing up playing in the backyard, his friends grew this league for NWA.
Hmm.
What, 8 seasons? What, they're 8 seasons in, or currently in season 8.
Yeah.
Um, Skibby the same way. You got people that have moved away that come back,
Yep.
for that weekend, or that, those games. So I mean, it's just, it builds it, and then yeah, we're only in year 5 through MoWiff, but dude, there's if I'm going out to hang out with somebody, it's 9 times out of 10 I've got some type of wiffle ball connection with them in some facet. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's you know that's just kind of fun.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, I also think MoWiff just has like, truthfully, like I think MoWiff minus maybe a couple guys has the best wiffle ball players in the state. Like the best people who can play the sport are in MoWiff right now. Again, minus maybe a couple like stragglers here and there. But I mean, for the most part, like I feel like it's everybody. Um, Even just in the state of Missouri, like honestly, unless there's just people out there that we don't know about quite yet. But even then, eventually, I feel like they'll be in. Um, I don't know. I'll answer the second part of that question, I guess. Uh, that like it's when I started playing wiffle ball. So I've been playing wiffle ball since 2017 was the first year of my league, and we used to just do 1v1s with like base running. So I mean, like truthfully, it was pretty
With
close
base
to
running,
with base running. Yeah,
ugh, the
I
old
mean
man
we were.
hates base running.
Hmm?
I said the old man to me hates base running.
Oh, we loved it. We did like pitcher's hand in some like season. There was always rules changing. Like
Yeah,
that's just what we did. And we played like 10 seasons or something like that in like 5 years. We just did like all the time because Arizona, it's perfect weather pretty much all the time. So I mean,
right.
my, that was awful. But I mean, we do like 50 game seasons. Big like long seasons. Just play like all day, like sunrise to sunset basically. And I think like that's why when I joined Skibby, like that's probably like been like the best thing is like getting the flashbacks from when I was a kid and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean that's my stuff, I guess. Uh, I do have one question about the Thunderbirds. I guess like two part. Um, Now, what has
Get
been
my
like your
manager hat on.
huh?
I said, let me put my manager hat on.
What has been your favorite part of this Thunderbirds team? And then as we get closer to the playoffs, like how are you feeling, like confidence wise and just everything?
Okay, so my favorite part has been how quickly the team was already established, right? You and me are the outsiders to that team. All right, let's call it what it is. That team was established. They've been together. Foss and Dom were drafted last year, but the way that everybody came together, right? The fact that we are all very open and honest. We don't talk a lot, in between game week, in between weeks that we're not going, our team chat isn't, popping off every day or whatnot, but we're always there to celebrate the little wins, the little wins and the big wins, but everybody's kind of contributed, and then how the relationships have carried outside of the ballpark, like you and Foss and Dom, granted playing at NWA as well, and
Yeah,
traveling each other, but you guys talk about it and you guys have your own thoughts that you guys bring, and we have conversations about it. you know some of the ideas and some of the things we've done, they weren't my decisions, they were your guys' decisions, and it
yeah,
was a good idea. My way is not, I don't, just because I have an idea of what I think we should do doesn't mean that, we got to do it. When we went into playing that Mojo game 1 of that series, you guys brought up batting 4 instead of batting 5 like normal. All right, makes sense.
yeah,
Cool, let's go. Yeah, I know I made the jokes. I know you guys bumping me off my own damn lineup. Okay, I see. But it's me just making jokes. My ego didn't get in the way. I mean, granted, when we started watching some balls and we weren't swinging, I was like, okay, come on now, let's go, let's start swinging the bat. Not gonna hit the ball if we're not gonna swing the bat.
Yeah.
Because when that rain picked up, that there was just a lot of pitches that were just, I mean, they're
There.
fast. Wrong, they're fast, but it's, but I mean that's part of it, right? The tough decision was made. Tough decisions need to be made, and if it comes from me or comes from somebody else, on the team, it's considered and it's talked about as a whole, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's one of my favorite things about it. Now, how am I feeling about playoffs? And I kind of already alluded to this a little bit when I was talking with Wheeler. There is nobody that we're going to go toe to toe with or potentially go up against that's not necessarily, they don't scare me. I respect them, but I'm not scared about anybody because we have a team that literally everybody has delivered in some facet for a stretch this season. Not just
Yeah.
one night, not just two, not just here and there, for stretches. So it's
Yep.
there. We've proven the fact that it's there. Numbers don't look great. If you look at the lineup, looks at lineups and everything that way. But we are a team that is not an easy out. It's pitching it's not easy. You know who you're getting, but at the same time, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm here. Now hit it. And it
Yeah.
just, it's just kind of, we got that swagger, we got that confidence. But I mean, like I said, I am not afraid of anybody that we go toe to toe with
Yeah.
because it's just going to be one of those things. At the end of the day, it's a game. We're going to have fun. But the minute somebody says play ball, let's effing go.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. I definitely think. I mean, my favorite part, 100%, has been the chemistry. Just like how we've molded together as a team has been insane. And I feel like we probably have the best chemistry, like as a team, as a whole. Besides maybe like a couple other squads that are in the league, but like they're in the same boat. Like they've been pretty dominant. Like I feel like chemistry is an underrated part in MoWiff, and just like playing with guys that you want to play with, and guys that every Thursday you want to spend time with. Like that's been the biggest part. Um, and I mean, I think like you were saying, like the swagger and the confidence. Like I feel like, I mean, that's how we're feeling. I feel like the whole squad's feeling that up to down or top to bottom. I guess we're all ready to go, and I mean, I respect everybody in the league like 100%. But I mean, like you said, like there's like I'm not scared to face anybody either. Like mistakes happen. Like that's just the name of the game.
yep.
Now it happen now than in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
You look at the last two champions, Mojo last year, definition family. They have each other's backs through and through.
Yep.
So they've proven that. The When the Melonheads won, dude, that was a team. You if you said one thing sideways, you had five of them coming at you, and I mean it could be the silliest of things, but I mean they're a team that's how they are, and
Yep.
it's your brother being a part of it. I think it was a perfect landing spot for your brother.
Yep.
Kind of lets him be him, and not a lot of pressure. Some people put pressure on themselves. Not saying Bryson did or did not, but it's relaxing when you get in a spot to where you feel like it's a good fit and a good feel. You
Yeah.
know, so that's just kind of where it is, and I mean, plain and simple, just like I said a little bit ago, talking with you, you sit there and go, why the hell am I swinging at that? Swinging at a pitch, and you turn around, look at me, and go, I was wondering the same damn thing, and I just walked away. Or I was just like, yep, and just kind of, you know,
Yeah.
we keep each other honest as a team, so I like it
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you're like. It's what you got to do if you want to be, the best. Is you got to keep everybody accountable. Like no excuses. You know what I mean? Like
for
I
sure.
know, like that's like my biggest pet peeve, and like I've always whatever team I've ever been on, like no excuses. Like just got to let it like fuel you for like the next time and stuff like that. And most of the time it pays off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
I
buddy.
mean,
Well, hey, oh, go ahead.
no, that's all the questions I got. I'm done.
So, you and me, I got one question for you. All right, and
Hmm.
this is a fan submitted question. All right, so I like saying that. But like me, you
Yep.
and me both, we both strive to visit every ballpark, right? Every MLB ballpark.
Yep.
Where's your dream stadium that you haven't got to see yet?
Mm, uh, Dodger Stadium is one that I want to visit. Um, but it's
I would have thought you've already been to Dodger Stadium. Man. Isn't it only like an 8-hour drive?
no, yeah, I haven't been there. I've been to Petco, but not Dodger Stadium. What about it's Oracle? That's the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go there. Like those are probably my two big ones. I mean, I've been to the big ones. I've been to Fenway. I've been to Yankee Stadium. I've been to Wrigley. And I'll say this for the entire state of Missouri. Wrigley is not all that. It's cool, and I'm a White Sox fan, so I can say that I hate the Cubs. Hate the Cubs with a burning passion. Um, I yeah, I couldn't get down with Wrigley. I don't know, man. It's pretty. I don't know. I like all the other ones though, but yeah, those are probably my picks: Dodger Stadium and Oracle.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Mine's Pittsburgh.
Okay, that's
Never been to Pittsburgh. I
yeah.
want to see it. I used to get a kick out of Wainwright's final season and everything. He did his old man walks the day after pitching, where he'd go walk the stadium and he'd do he'd take pictures or video of what he'd see and stuff, and that's something I like doing. Like I literally paid full ticket price to go into a Seattle Mariners game when I was in Seattle. That was in the seventh inning. Like I paid full price to go in there just to see the stadium, and I think it's a really cool place. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty neat. I think Milwaukee is pretty good.
Milwaukee's awesome.
Been to Miami multiple times.
Mhm.
I've been to Miami. I've been to Miami in two different aspects. I've been to Miami to see the Cardinals. That was awesome because my son was wearing a fedora and got on TV. That was a lot of fun. My daughter was sitting right next to him. Um, but then I've also been for the World Baseball Classic. I can sit there and say I was there for the Venezuela game when Trey Turner hit that grand slam.
Oh, that's an
So
insane.
I
Yeah,
have been inside that building to where it is literally I was standing there and I was shaking, you
yeah,
know. And I mean, dude, I've been to countless playoff games, opening days at Busch. Still, to me, chills every time.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know. Like I guess Pittsburgh's my number one spot. So,
yeah.
but yeah, and
Philly's
Toronto.
up.
I want to go to Toronto too. That'd be cool,
Ooh, yeah. Now that you're mentioning it, like Toronto, like I want to go to Toronto. That'd be sick. And then Philly, that would be insane.
dude. Go to Citizen Bank. I I had a buddy go to Philly once, and it was not a good experience for him.
Mm,
And it was like he had his kids with him and stuff, and that's just
mm,
that sucks. You hope you don't want to see that happen or anything crazy happen, but you know
yeah,
what happens. But I'd love to go in there just a group of guys and just see what happens, even though it
yeah,
might end well. But
yeah,
Philly's definitely on my list. Just hit up
yeah,
Pittsburgh, Philly, hit up City Field, hit up Yankee Stadium, then come back and hit Fenway. That'd be a good little trek.
yeah. If you're a baseball fan, Fenway is life changing. Like not only like for the sport, but just like in general. Like it was insane. Like there's a part where you walk through and you see like, especially at like a day game, you walk through like a tunnel and you see the field, like core
Oh,
memory, right?
oh,
Ingrained into my head. Like it's ridiculous. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
dude, that's how Bush Stadium 2 used to be for me. All right, you enter the concourse, it was an all-purpose stadium, so it was the cookie cutter. But when you came around a corner and the concourse opened up and you saw the field, it was just mesmerizing to me.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. And that's why I love Safeco Field or whatever it's called, T-Mobile Field, T-Mobile Park now, up in Seattle, because the whole concourse, you can see the field. So if you're up getting a hot dog or up getting food, you're not blocked by nothing. You're not watching a TV. You're able to see the whole damn field. So I
Yeah.
respect that and I love that.
Yeah.
But
Chase Field in Phoenix is also super underrated. I think, in my opinion, it's like a little bit of a watered down version of Milwaukee, but they're very similar, very cool.
Yeah.
I think both of them are. I think Milwaukee's been one of the best ones besides Fenway. Probably the best field I've been to.
Got you.
In general. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you flipping the script on me and asking me some questions, and
Of course.
it's always fun to do some different things. But
Yeah.
congrats on your Hitter of the Week award. Let's go out there and win another one this week. Or
Appreciate it.
yeah, because you're not pitching. So yeah, Hitters of the Week award. Let's do it again
Yeah.
next week. But no,
Get a
man,
win.
let's get that dub. Let's get that dub and lock this up. All right.
Yep.
But with all that being said, I'll be back to end it up here shortly. I want to thank Brody Livingston and Josh Wheeler for their time today. I know we had a lot of fun kind of having some fun questions and flipping roles a little bit between me and Brody, but that's always good time, good time. Let's go over this final 2 weeks of the schedule here, pretty much as we kick off this Thursday. Games that are going to be going on are going to be Bombers at Thunderbirds. That's going to be our 6 o'clock game. Mambas versus Mojo at 7. Mojo and Purge are going to finish their week 6 game. That game is going into the bottom of the third. Mojo are up 3-0. Then after that game is completed, the Purge will play their scheduled game against the Melonheads. So a lot of stuff is going to be figured out come this Thursday, especially when it comes to that National League. Are the Purge still in it for trying to take over that National League division, or are the T-Birds able to clinch? So a lot of stuff there's looking forward to however that happens. So make sure you stay tuned. And then obviously we finish up our schedule week 18. 18. Just because the way that we're kind of working it out right now. But T-Birds will play the Melonheads at 6. Archers versus Mambas at 7. Then our final game of the season, Mojo versus Kings. So we've got games all sprinkled in here that we're up until the last pitch, the last out. We don't even know where they're going to be, where everybody's going to be sitting come playoffs. So a lot of meaningful games in between the final 6 and an inning that we got going on here in the next couple weeks. So hope you guys have enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure you like and subscribe and ding that bell. That way, anything kind of alerts that come across, you're alerted right away, so you can keep up to date with all of our content and everything like that. And with all that being said, peace out from Bar Brian.